Now on CoastTV News.
Millsboro Bypass opens.
This improves safety.
After decades of planning, the long-awaited bypass is finally ready to roll.
Nassau Road detour.
People hate to cross Route 1.
A Lewis road is shut down. Eventually, it's supposed to make driving safer, but for now, businesses are frustrated.
Hotel to houses.
We wanted to create a home for ourselves.
While the Board of Adjustment is saying, not so fast in Rehoboth Beach.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
This empty road soon to have thousands of cars driving on it. Good evening, I'm Christina D. Robertis.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 6. We begin tonight with the Millsboro Bypass holding a ribbon-cutting ceremony. The Millsboro Bypass just days away from opening, and businesses in town, they're looking forward to seeing a little less traffic. Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zappé is live in Millsboro. Kevin, right now traffic does continue to roll through town.
Charlie, we're in Millsboro where traffic has been constant all day today. If you take a look behind me, traffic is still going on during the evening hours. Businesses hope that the bypass will help with the through traffic getting out of the area.
One, cut! Woo! Yay!
A ribbon cutting in preparation for the Millsboro Bypass. After decades of planning and construction starting in 2023, the bypass will officially open on Thursday night. George Pierce, the group engineer for Sussex County, says he's excited for all the benefits this will bring.
This improves safety. It makes downtown a little more friendly for pedestrians and just takes that through traffic out, reduces volume.
Traffic has been a big concern in Millsboro. Nectar Cafe and Juice Bar faces that heavy traffic every day.
Welcome to Nectar.
Hostess Melody McNamara has dealt with the struggles.
I live about 2 miles away, and some mornings it can take me 25 minutes to travel 2 miles.
Right now, cars create constant traffic on the road highlighted in red. But once the bypass opens, drivers will be able to use the road highlighted in green, meaning fewer trucks driving through town.
Make it a little more walkable, make people come in and shop and find good places to eat. So we think that it is definitely a benefit when that bypass opens.
McNamara hopes to see more customers and less traffic in town. According to DelDOT, they plan to finish painting the bypass before opening it up to the public on Thursday night. I'm Kevin Zappé, live in Millsboro, Coast TV News.
And while the traffic congestion on Route 24 funneling into Millsboro is a decades-long issue, it's a relatively short time for construction of the bypass. Groundbreaking started at the end of March in 2023. The project cost $130 million. 4 bridges are part of the bypass, some spanning Millsboro Pond.
Nassau Road near Route 1 is closed starting today. Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken is live in Lewis now. Emma, this is an important start to a project that DelDOT says will eventually make Route 1 safer.
Christina, we're in our Coast TV Jeep driving on Nassau Road towards where the closure begins on this road. This is day 1 of this closure. We've seen crews out here working all day. Where we're approaching right now is the intersection of Nassau Road and New Road, and this will eventually be a roundabout. That's just one of the many changes you can expect over the next several years. DelDOT says they're installing storm drain pipes beneath the road, and because of that work, you're going to need to take a detour through the end of October and maybe even longer depending on the weather. This construction is part of a much larger and longer DelDOT project to revamp Route 1 entirely, which they say will make getting across the highway safer. The project includes the addition of 3 roundabouts and a whole new road being built underneath Nassau Bridge. That way you can get across Route 1 without actually having to cross Route 1. One local we spoke with says she thinks the current closure will be worth it in the end.
People hate to cross Route 1. It's bad. And people sit until they finally can't sit anymore, and boom. And it's not good.
And just over the past several months, Coast TV has reported on multiple accidents on Route 1. DelDOT says that danger is why the project also includes plans to eliminate 8 crossovers on Route 1, helping that risk. Reporting live in the Coast TV Jeep, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
Thank you, Emma. In most of Delaware's coastal towns, paid parking enforcement has ended for the season, but not everywhere. Lewis is the last town still charging for parking, with beach parking running until September 30th. Downtown meters are active until October 14th. Rehoboth Beach, Dewey Beach, Bethany, and Fenwick all wrapped up paid parking on September 15th. And one person Coast TV spoke with thinks the extended enforcement impacts local businesses more than drivers.
I think it's depleting some revenue from the shops in Lewis, because if they're going to go to Dewey for the 2 weeks in September or Rehoboth, they're getting the revenue and not Lewis.
And the cost for beach parking is $2.50 downtown. It's $1.50 at the beach.
And speaking of Lewis, we're looking live into the area right now, and our first alert, Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams is joining us. Paul, what sort of week are we in for?
Well, right now we're actually in the 70s, which is actually dead center on where we should be. But for the next few days, believe it or not, to be quite honest, Charlie, we're going to escalate into the 80s, feeling more like summertime, at least for the first week of fall. Right now, though, we're fall-like for right now, but this is the first day. 70 degrees right now in Rehoboth, as well as Indian River Inlet. We're at 74 degrees, not only in Millsboro, but also 74 degrees right now in Georgetown. Rip current statement is active for us right now for Lewis, Rehoboth Beach, as well as Dewey Beach. This goes all the way down towards Fenwick Island, and then we have a beach statement. Now, both of these are basically highlighting it's still a bit blustery along the beaches at this hour, and that'll stay a concern for us at least for late tonight for West Ocean City, as well as Cape. All right. And then well to the south, we have that same beach hazard that's in effect for us in Chincoteague that stays in effect at least for later on tonight. Although overall, we're still staying relatively quiet, high pressure and full control of our weather. So we're enjoying some sunshine, but you notice how that high is skipping a little bit more to the north as we progress here. So we're looking for things to begin to at least see a few more clouds in place for us. Here's a look at our expectations for the rest of the evening. We'll have temperatures in the 60s with cloud cover still hovering over us pretty steadily, and the winds shifting direction coming out of the south and eventually southwest. Charlie?
Thank you, Paul. Tonight in Georgetown, discussion on where to place 2 fallen officer memorials. The Circle Advisory Committee is recommending both the Chad Spicer and former police chief Harvey Gregg memorials be moved closer to the fountain and away from traffic. Both monuments have been damaged in crashes. The Georgetown's Town Council is set to take up the issue tonight at 7 o'clock.
Earlier today, Governor Matt Meyer signed a proclamation declaring Literacy Month in Delaware. The governor's office says the move highlights the state's renewed focus on improving reading outcomes for students.
If you don't understand the fundamentals of reading, if you don't like reading, if you're not able to write clearly and grammatically correct, you're not going to be able to communicate your ideas. So it's vitally important you learn to read and then you read to learn.
And Meyer said new investments in education will support students but also teachers.
One Ocean City local is pushing for a new way to travel on Coastal Highway. Andy Sanderson wants permission to drive his low-speed vehicle or golf cart in the bus lane. He says it's fuel efficient, safe, and already growing in popularity in local neighborhoods.
The buggy world, the LSV market, has blown up all over the East Coast, Florida. I believe they've got them going on in Myrtle now. Virginia Beach has started to see them. So this is an evolutionary change to something in a different fuel market that can still get you around safely and efficiently. So I don't see a downside.
The bus lane is already used for scooters, e-bikes, and other low-speed vehicles. The council has referred the proposal to its committees for review. Now, any change would still need approval from the state.
And we still have more news to get into this evening.
In sports, there's high school football tonight between 2 undefeated Bayside teams. We'll preview the playoff rematch.
And we'll have towering temps above the norm for this time of the year. More summer-like sunshine. Details coming up.
But first, hotel to houses. What approvals are needed for a Rehoboth Beach family looking to change up their land? That story when we're back in just 60 seconds.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
The Canal Front Inn Hotel in Rehoboth Beach has been owned by the Deptula family since 2019, but after no buyers came forward to purchase the hotel, the family now going down a different path.
They were the main event of the City Board of Adjustment meeting today.
Coast TV News reporter Brandon Ferguson is live in Rehoboth Beach. Brandon, the family wants to turn their hotel into houses.
Christina and Charlie, the Canal Side Inn Hotel, the owners of it say they've been trying to sell it for the past 18 months before the idea of possibly building 2 single-family homes on this property came to mind. But before any demolition can happen here and building down the line, the idea of this project is now in the Board of Adjustment's hands. The Canal Front Inn, a low-profile hotel on Canal Street in Rehoboth Beach, could soon be demolished.
We decided that we wanted to create a home for ourselves in Rehoboth Beach.
Dr. Brian Deptula and his wife Kristen want to build 2 of these exact homes on your screen, pending approvals and contact with builders.
We're going to live in one, and then we hope to redevelop the other and work with a seller and a buyer to actually create a home for them as well.
But before any building or demolition can happen, the city has to approve a few variances. Right now, the lot doesn't meet the zoning rules for things like how many homes can go there, how big the lot needs to be, how large the buildings can be, or how far they have to be from the property lines. Deptula is asking for exceptions on those. As these plans progressed on, Deptula says he went to around 100 neighbors in the area and got 45 electronic signatures supporting the change. The owners say variances have to be filed because of the unique triangular shape of their land that you can see here. The Deptulas say there won't be any loss of business if the Canal Side Inn is demolished.
We want to make sure that we're now replacing the Canal Side Inn with our consulting and training business.
From hotel to homes, one Rehoboth Beach family is well on their way to making that a reality. After over an hour and a half of discussion at today's Board of Adjustments meeting, they voted 4-0 to deny those variances to happen to this property. They say that the applicant should look at other ways to develop this land rather than those 2 single-family homes. Live in Rehoboth Beach, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
This brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, should more coastal hotels become homes?
Let's take a look at the updated results here from last news hour. 10% say yes, always. 30% say case by case. 60%, most people saying never.
If you haven't voted yet, you can still do that at coasttv.com or use our mobile app. We will show you some updated results in Coast TV News at 11.
Taking a look at your golf forecast for tomorrow, to be quite honest, actually looks pretty good, to be honest. Temperatures will be in the mid-80s and nice. So, welcome to fall, everyone, where it still feels like summertime, particularly for the next couple of days in a row. Next week, we'll get to how that fall thing will, feel. This week, we're just going to extend summertime, unofficially for a few more days. How's that? We're at 70 degrees in Rehoboth right now, and actually very tranquil conditions for us. And temperatures will sink into the mid-60s by late tonight, just before we get into the midnight hours. We're currently in the 70s for most locations at this point. We're at 73 in Long Neck as well as Millsboro, 74 in Georgetown, 73 in Milford, 75 in Bridgeville, and 78 degrees in Seaford as well as Harrington. Now, we had a high today of 78 degrees in Georgetown officially. Now, as far as today is concerned, this was a fall day like it was supposed to be, because believe it or not, even if it felt a little warm to you, 78, that's where we should be for this time of the year. Even our low isn't too far off of the average for this time of the year. But our main concern is going to be getting past, the concern for the beach hazards. It's going to stay active at least until 8 o'clock for tonight. But Fenwick Island to Ocean View, South Bethany, rip current statement is still active. Now, when we say a rip current statement, it's basically giving us a warning. Hey, be mindful if you happen to be in the water. Rip currents are likely to pull you out. When you have that statement, it's kind of like an advisory on ahead of time or ahead of schedule before you actually get into maybe doing something out there in that water and get pulled out farther than what you bargained for. What's happening right now, we have high pressure that's in control of our weather for right now, so it's keeping a lot of the rainy stuff away from us. So for your dog walking forecast, we'll warm to near 80 degrees by 2 o'clock. Winds will be pushing out of the southeast at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then they'll be shifting directly out of the south and then shift out of the south-southwest, going into the evening hours. All that being said, mainly the winds are coming out of the south, more moisture, more heat. So we'll warm to 85, for example, in Lewis, get up to 79 degrees in Cambridge, but 81 in Vienna, and we'll warm to 81 degrees in Snow Hill as well as Berlin. Now, as far as the coast is concerned, right there at the beaches, well, we're going to be about 80 to 78, 79, 77 to 82 is going to be the range here. 82, for example, in Lewis, 77, for example, in Ocean City, but the wind's pushing primarily out of the south. 6:30 in the morning for Tuesday, we'll see cloud cover in Selbyville, Long Neck, and Fenwick Island. Not so much over towards Seaford, and Seaford will peak at about 84 degrees for the high. Wednesday, mid-morning, temperatures in the 70s, but we'll peak at about 87 degrees, pretty uniform everywhere, except right here along the beaches. That being the case, here's a look at your raking forecast. I could see raking leaves for Tuesday and Wednesday, not a problem, but Thursday we'll have some rain, should have fallen by then. Might make it a little tricky. And our peak foliage, we're looking at late November for the foliage to really come into play, for it to take those wonderful pictures. Here's a look at your extended forecast. Oh yeah, we're going to be in the 80s for the next 3 days in a row. We'll wait till next week to talk about that real fall feel in the air.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Are you ready for Monday Night Football? No, I don't mean the Ravens versus the Lions, although that is at 8:15 tonight. No, I mean high school football. Y-High in Queen Anne's County were supposed to play Friday night, but the game was pushed to today at 5, so it's already underway. It's a battle between two undefeated squads. The Tribe coming off a marquee victory over Stephen Decatur, which ended the Seahawks' 28-game win streak. The Lions, on the other hand, most recently came back late to take down North Carolina. Today, the past game that looms largest is likely last year's playoff game between Y-High and QAC, though. The Indians took that one 34-21. I'm sure a lot of players have that game in the back of their minds as they're playing right now. For highlights of tonight's game, tune into the final score on the Delmarva Sports Network at 10:30. And like I mentioned, the Ravens host the Lions tonight at 8:15. Baltimore has lost to Buffalo and beaten Cleveland so far. A loss for the Ravens would result in their second straight season to start with a 1-2 record. But even with a 1-2 start, they won the AFC North last year, so anything can happen either way. Have a nice night, Delmarva.
Soaring Over the Shore is sponsored by Morse Roofing and Siding.
Once a place of ship creation and a major mode of transportation, the Broadkill River is now a major Sussex County waterway and the perfect place for recreation.
Native Americans and European settlers used the Broadkill River to move supplies. As demand grew by the early 1800s, the Broadkill's banks became full of shipyards, many in Milton since it was at the highest point of navigation and near some forests. Now you're much more likely to see pontoon boats or kayaks on this 25-mile waterway running from Milton to Lewis. Its watershed supports local wildlife too, proving the Broadkill has always been a place of serenity and security, then and now.
Drytech Cross Base Camera, Ocean City at 71 degrees right now. We'll drop to 67 by 9 o'clock. Here's a look at our umbrella giveaway winner, Raymond Priblowski of Lewis. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodeling. You can call our weather line and keep up with your forecast. The number to call is 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away, sponsored by the law offices of Bruckstead, Mendalis, and Federico. And here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Listen, we're going to still feel a whole lot like summertime till we get to next week, so let's just enjoy the ride.
All right, sounds good to me. Thank you, Paul, and thanks for joining us for Coast TV News at 6.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
The NBC Nightly News is up next.
And we're going to see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 11. Have a great evening.